It won't be like you're not a part of Facebook. You're not a part of Facebook.
My name's on the masthead.
You might want to check again.
Oh, if you already know the answers to your questions, then why ask?
What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss?
I like the way you die, boy.
I don't want to be a product of my environment.
Now answer my question. Were you rushing or were you dragging?
My boys are wicked smart.
What is up, Film Fixation Podcast? We're back. We're back with another episode where we're going to be talking about The Killer, David Fincher's new movie.
New masterpiece.
New masterpiece, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're very excited to talk about it. My name's Jaron Allred. I'm joined by my co-host, Austin Hyatt. And special... Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
Special guest, Grace Hyatt.
Grace Larsen.
Grace Larsen Hyatt.
Legally, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. She's our diversity hire.
Yeah, thanks for that.
The network said they want more women on the show.
Here.
She's also part Indian, which checks
really?
another box.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, like 164th or something.
116th. You're closer than you think, yeah.
That's impressive.
It is her birthday tomorrow, and she has said all she wanted for her birthday was to be on the podcast. So that's why she's here.
This is our present to her.
Mm-hmm.
When this comes out, it'll probably be her birthday. So
yeah,
everybody text her, call her. She likes calls more.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't call
FaceTime her. Okay, but first, let's get into the film news. Some pretty big news this week. So let's talk about it.
Oh, what if I pull it up? Hey, I forgot we do news on this podcast.
That's right, yeah.
What was my homepage? Sydney Sweeney made a new post. That's big news.
Okay, yeah.
So I gotta look at that real quick. And then
We'll do that on
our
our other
messages.
pod.
Yeah.
Go over that.
Okay. Let's see here. I've got to start marking our last episode. Okay, Robert Pattinson to portray Patrick Bateman type character.
Yeah.
In Adam McKay's upcoming film. I think it's called Adam. Holy cum. I'm going to cut that. It's going to be called Average Height, Average Build.
Okay.
Which sounds
Is
good.
he?
I don't know.
Average
That sounds really
height?
good. Robert?
Yeah.
He's a bit taller. He's like 6'1".
He carries himself really tall. Let's see.
His hair's pretty poofy. It probably helps.
He's 6'1", yeah.
6, yeah.
Wow.
I could tell.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can't be Batman under 6 foot.
There's
right?
no way, yeah. I'm really excited for that. I wish it was maybe a different director than Adam McKay.
Yeah.
I mean, his last film, Don't Look Up, was decent.
You didn't like that?
I liked it when I first saw it.
I didn't like it either.
It's a little political.
Yeah. Well, just too on the nose. Like,
Oh,
I wonder if that was the writing or what, but like it's fine to have a political movie, but it was just like a lazy political,
Great performances in there, though.
Yeah.
Timothy was hilarious.
Just great.
Leo, obviously, was great.
Yeah. So, should be good.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Something to look forward to.
Robert Pattinson, I don't want to curse him. I don't want to give him the film fixation curse. But I've got all my stock in that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't curse that guy.
Yeah.
Like we did Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, sorry, Jonathan and all his fans. We really effed you guys over. Anyway, Martin Scorsese defends Brendan Fraser's performance in Killers of the Flower Moon.
I called it. I told you guys that.
I get that it works in the context of the scene, but
you just
still
didn't
don't like it.
Man, it's whatever, dude.
Took me out.
You just didn't get it.
Yeah, I probably didn't. A Barbenheimer movie is in the works.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Grace?
I didn't.
A Barbenheimer movie.
It's being made for like $10 million, like super low budget. It's about Dr. Bambi J. Barbenheimer living in Daltopia. After a trip to the real world, he develops an atomic bomb to kill all the humans.
That sounds like the worst movie ever.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think it might be okay.
Yeah.
I wish I had a bigger budget.
Okay.
This is big news that Jaron sent me. Lego and Fortnite collaboration coming up. That's literally huge. Let's see. Nintendo is making a live-action Legend of Zelda movie.
Yeah,
we got to stop reporting on IGN.
Well, this is actually interesting news here because Zelda's awesome.
Sure.
So I'm excited for that one.
Okay. Okay, good.
Such an epic game, you know. I grew up on it. And I hope they just get the casting right. Get some no names in there.
Who are you
know?
casting for Link?
Like nobody that I know.
Ryan Gosling.
That could work.
No.
That could work.
If they cast Tom Holland, I'm gonna do something to myself.
Did Uncharted do well enough for him to be in another video game movie?
No. I think that
Then
flopped.
I think we're safe. We're
Mark
safe, right?
Wahlberg, he could be Link.
He could be Link. Yeah.
Or Ganondorf.
Yeah. If Link beats up on Vietnamese people, Mark Wahlberg would be great for that role. 90 Minutes of Gladiator 2 is being edited by director Ridley Scott. It features the hero versus baboon.
Yeah.
90 minutes straight, apparently, which is
That's
going to be
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's like a
90
2001
minutes.
Space Odyssey type
Yeah.
right there.
Who's going to be the hero in Gladiator?
Is it not Paul Mescal?
I thought he was going to be the bad guy.
No, it was originally supposed to be. What's his name? He's in
Let's see.
Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, it was gonna be him, but he dropped out
Okay.
due to like scheduling
But yeah.
conflicts.
You're right. Paul Mescal is the protagonist. So
Yeah.
there's your one right thing for tonight.
Okay, that's
I get two.
You
But
get
that's going to
two,
be great.
okay.
I'm hot on Paul Mescal. I know I said that thing about Robert Pattinson.
Mhm.
All my stock is in Paul Mescal. Screw Robert Pattinson.
Whoa,
So, yeah,
that's crazy.
That's facts.
yeah,
I like him too.
he's great.
Probably not as much as Austin, though.
Probably not.
I don't know. You got to watch Normal People. great.
Normal people.
Normal People.
Okay.
Yeah. IGN gave The Marvels an 8, which we don't know anything about.
Yeah,
I'm not-
'cause we didn't go see it.
I'm not hating on it.
Mm-hmm.
We will go see it. That's what Grace really wants for her birthday. We're going to go check out The Marvels.
That's
so.
it, Grace.
No.
No.
Yeah.
What do you have against women empowerment movies?
Yeah.
I think they have to be done tastefully.
Yeah, I agree.
I
Is
feel
it
like
not
this
tasteful?
was kind of a cash grab.
Cash grab.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's ironic because it's not going to make
Any money, right?
It's the lowest Marvel
Yeah.
box office opening ever.
But really, it's fighting a huge uphill battle. You know, like none of them could promote it. The strike ended right before it came out.
Right.
Yeah,
Like-
that's true.
And it's after all of that news came out from Variety about Marvel, like retooling their entire slate for the upcoming years.
Yeah, they're
So
kind
it's
of
like-
scrambling right
It's
now.
kind of like Black Adam or Blue Beetle. Like, you know that they're doing a reset, that like the company's in a bad place. So you're like, does this movie even matter in the bigger universe? So
Black Adam was so bad.
yeah, I never even saw it.
I wanted to walk out of the theater. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry, we have been sending a lot of stuff to each other. Voiceover work for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will now resume. The strike ended. We
The
haven't
strike.
talked
We
about
didn't
that.
say
Holy
that.
cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actor strike is over. So
It's a
Those
pretty
greedy
big
actors
piece
finally
of
just agreed to keep working for
Yeah.
the poor studio heads, you know, that are losing millions.
Millions.
seriously, it is so sad that they strung him out that long.
I know.
So our prayers were answered. The studio heads are back at work. So thank goodness for that. But that's
I
great.
guess I'm confused who the strike was for. Just kidding.
It was for us cinema lovers
I know. And the actors.
against the actors.
And the
Yeah.
actors, yeah.
Yeah. Captain America 4. Why is this all Marvel? Why are we all? Why are we
let's just
reporting on
skip
Marvel?
that.
Holy crap!
That's all. We're done. That's all the news.
Wait, this is a funny one.
Okay.
Apparently, Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez cast George Clooney in From Dusk Till Dawn
Yeah.
because they thought George Clooney looked like Quentin Tarantino, so it was believable that they were brothers.
I
Which is
love
kind of insane.
the delusion there.
Yeah. It's actually crazy.
But
Was
you look
Clooney mad about that?
He was probably just like grateful to. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Quentin Tarantino.
He looks like Waluigi.
Yeah.
You know.
He seems like the cocky guy that like thinks chicks dig him.
Yeah.
Like, you ever seen Death Proof? Have you seen that yet?
No.
He like plays this cool character that all the women like love. He's, like,
Oh, I
this
didn't know
bar
he
owner.
was in that himself.
yeah.
Okay.
So just kind of funny.
Well, like you could tell from that photo shoot that he did with Brad and Leo.
Yeah,
for Once
yeah.
Upon a Time in
Literally,
Hollywood.
like every time he posts this, he's like
right in the
giving
middle.
a smirk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last thing here, and it is comic book movie related. July 11th, 2025 is Superman Legacy's release date, which is pretty crazy. It's only a couple of years. I feel like that's kind of a fast turnaround. Year and a half.
Yeah. I guess so.
So, okay, that's the news.
Okay. Let's get into The Killer. Okay, so let me give the synopsis real quick. Directed by David Fincher, my favorite director. Execution is everything. After a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal. Sitting at a 3.6 on Letterboxd.
Way too low.
Disappointing.
Way too low.
I'm very disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
It's starring Michael Fassbender, Tilda Swinton, and a couple of people that
Don't really matter.
Yeah. The reviews are it's got a 7 out of 10 on IMDb average, and a 86% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Good.
And a 62% audience score, dude.
Yeah.
That does not make sense. But it's whatever, dude. People
We'll
just
talk about it.
They don't get it, but whatever. So we, me, Austin, Grace, we all watched this with a bunch of our friends. And what was the experience like? What would you guys say?
It was pretty horrible for me. I was really stressed. I was stressed about a
You were
presentation
stressed.
the next day. So
Yeah.
I was like, this movie needs to effing end so everybody can leave and I can go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did not dig the vibes afterwards. I've told you this. We're going to stop inviting people to our premieres. We're going to stop talking about it right after.
Okay.
Because we just end up sad. I mean, I was okay with the conversation after the first viewing. I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've watched it again since, so I'll talk about that later.
Okay. The thing with me is, right, I love our friends, okay?
Yeah, kind of.
And I love getting people to watch a film that I'm passionate about, But it's hard to hear criticism of a movie that you really like, especially by like my favorite director. Something that I've been waiting for like years to come out, And it has nothing to do with them or like if they're like whether or not their opinions are valid or not. It just hurts me internally, and I'm not very good at hiding my emotions. So I was just kind of sitting there on the couch, like, oh my gosh,
just fuming.
When can I get up and leave?
Yeah.
It's not about doing something
like angry edging in front of everybody.
Like pooping my pants just for just to ruin the night.
Yeah, that would have ruined the night.
Yeah,
should have done that.
Well, Spencer wasn't there, so
somebody
had.
We're done talking about Spencer.
Okay,
we told Spencer we're never mentioning him in an episode again.
Really? Because
I didn't tell him that actually. So
we won't though. That was the last one.
Yeah. No, yeah, it hurts me when you're hurt.
Yeah.
And it seemed like some of the people there, I'm not naming any names, Parker Banta, found pleasure in hurting you.
No, he just no. I love Banta. I love him so much. But there is no but. I just love the guy, right?
Right.
But they had mixed reactions to it, and it hurts me. And I was like having such a great time watching it with my friends.
Yeah.
Like I'm turning to you like all giddy about a shot that's like reminiscent of Gone Girl in an airport, or
there were a couple times where we laughed at the same thing and nobody else laughed.
I know, right? And I think this movie is very like intentionally funny in that way where you have to you may or may not pick up on it, but if you do, like it's just hilarious. You know?
Here's why I think it might not be widely successful for audiences. Is if you're a big Fincher guy, there are a lot of like self-referential things, references to older movies, And there are a lot of very funny things, but sometimes when you go that deep in like his style,
Yeah.
it can become like everything's an inside joke, you know?
Okay.
So like if this is your entry into Fincher, you're probably not going to enjoy it that much, and you're probably going to think he's like a subpar director.
You think so?
Apart from the visuals and like the sound design,
Yeah.
the story kind of seems subpar if you're not watching it in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I fear is like most audiences will walk away and be like, I didn't get any of it. And it's not that those audiences are stupid. It's just that they haven't been ingrained in Fincher's like style of storytelling and filmmaking, you know?
Yeah. Well, here's where I'll concede a little bit.
Sure.
But I disagree because I think this film is very entertaining just by itself without knowing all of the little like self-referential stuff that Fincher like put in there, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really care about that stuff. I know this like a lot of it is where like so Fincher is this very like obsessive guy who like loves to control the entire process of the films that he's on, you know? And it's kind of like he's the killer, you know?
Yeah.
Like he messes up. It's about like improvisation and how much of a control freak he is, you know? Like I heard how like, you know, Mank, his last movie, wasn't that great of a success, you know? So that's kind of like him missing the shot.
Yeah.
You know? And then he's just got to like, I don't know, there's so many just different references to his past work in this movie. But that's not really what's interesting to me. Like, I think, you know, outside of Fincher's movies, like, I don't really care about Fincher. You know, like, I don't care what he does when he gets off set or whatever, all that stuff, you know. I care about the work, right?
Right.
And I just I had such a great time. Like, and maybe this is just me, but, like, I really, like, I loved the process of everything in this movie. Like, him thinking about like the different ways that he's going to assassinate somebody, you know, like all the different little interesting facts that he brought up throughout the way. Like, you know, what's one where this is weird, but when women are murdered, the husband's the prime suspect, especially if they haven't been like sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, that's common knowledge. He's like, well, maybe it's not common knowledge. Right. And then there's just so many little like interesting things in like the inner monologue that's going on that I really liked. And Fassbender's such a soothing voice, you know?
Yeah, his voice performance was amazing.
Yeah. I watched this while driving home from work.
Don't try that at home.
Yeah, well, you know, I had it kind of on the side,
Sure, yeah.
or whatever. But I was mostly just listening to it. It was a 3-hour drive, you know, and I was just very entertained just by listening to what was going on.
Well, yeah, he has so little dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all in his thoughts. You could just listen to it like an audiobook.
Yeah,
which, I mean,
there's that. There's that. Yeah. So I just really liked that. Why don't you bring up some more criticisms that you guys might have? Or Grace, what did you think
what
about
were your
the movie?
feelings the first?
Well, I've only seen it once, so
You didn't watch it twice?
nope.
We told you to do your research, honey.
That's okay.
Actually, you didn't, and I don't
We've
really
seen
have
it
time
enough
today.
for the three of us.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
it 3 times.
Came out on Friday, and
we've
it's
seen it 6 times.
Monday, so yeah, I watched it once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I thought that the sound mixing was great.
Yeah. Okay.
You had mentioned that's like one of the things that David Fincher
It's
is
like
known
best,
for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that. Like when he opened a door and you could hear or opened the window to take that first shot, you could hear all the sounds going on outside.
Yeah.
It was still dark and stuff, but I don't know. You could feel the difference.
Yeah. In the way like he turns on his music.
Yeah.
You
I
know, and the
love
way
that.
it switches.
Yeah.
Like to diegetic where like he hears it to non-diegetic where like, you know, maybe
Yeah.
it's,
You can hear it, but
Yeah.
it's like in his ear.
Mhm.
Yeah. I thought that was great. Very fun. But I didn't think that the storyline was like very, I don't know, like personal at all.
Okay.
to somebody that's not a huge, like, your favorite director is David Fincher.
Yeah.
I like a couple of his films, so we're not the same.
Yeah.
So I didn't like understand why he went on the journey of assassinating all those people.
Okay. Well,
It's
here's
like there wasn't like a.
Is my dog here? Oh,
he's outside.
There wasn't like a. I don't know.
Something that
one
made
thing.
it like emotional for you. Like you just didn't buy in, right?
Yeah, there was no buy-in. Like, you can infer that that was his like girlfriend, wife,
Yeah.
from the way that he reacted to the house getting broken into. And I understand that he was an unreliable narrator,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know, there was like no basis to the relationship other than that hospital scene and then the end scene.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. On second watch, I was like, it makes sense that you don't understand his motivations because you're in his head the whole time. He is an unreliable narrator, and he's also like a sociopath. So if you're
Yes.
inside his head and you understand his motivations, that's like a little weird, you know? So I like, that's why I say it's kind of like an inside thing. And like for the average viewer, they might not like it is because, and partially why I don't like it that much, it's because I get that it's a very unique way to tell a story through his eyes, through a sociopath's eyes. But that she's got a point. It doesn't like resonate with the average viewer. Like when I go to a movie, I want to feel something like that.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like it that much, I can still appreciate it for what it is, you know?
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. Listen, what's a sociopath? Is a sociopath a person who's like emotionless? Is that what that is?
Let me pull up a definition.
Okay.
I don't think that's hard and fast.
Because a psychopath is somebody who's like extremely rageful and unpredictable, right? And a sociopath like is
Manifesting itself in extreme antisocial attitudes and behaviors that lack conscience.
okay. So we know he's an extremely conscientious person.
No regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others.
Okay.
So
I think he's a very emotional person who's trying to be a sociopath for his work, right? And I'll bring up a few examples, right? He's listening to the Smiths the entire movie, right? That's one of the most emotional bands.
500 Days of Summer.
Yeah. With some of the most like emotional songs out there, right? So he's in touch with his emotions. He's able to feel something from listening to the Smiths, right? And all of his murders were extremely personal. There's some that literally had no other reason except the fact that they were personal, you know, like the taxi driver, right? Like the only reason he killed him was because he was mad. He said, I blame you for making me bring work home.
Yeah.
You know? And I thought that was very interesting. And, you know, sometimes he concedes, like when he's talking to Tilda Swinton, you know, he's the lawyer. He's mad that she lives a normal life and that he hasn't been able to do that, you know? That she's living amongst, you know, the normies in New York.
Right.
And, you know, he takes a drink and he barges in on her like abruptly, you know? He doesn't show patience. That's a very sloppy thing to do.
Yeah.
Just wander into the restaurant. He could have waited for her to walk outside, you know?
Yeah, well, sorry, finish your thought.
I can't remember what were you going to say?
I just feel like that's also part of the unreliable narrator thing is like,
yeah,
he's a sociopath who's emotional. Like, I don't think those are two separate things, but also like his inner monologue is all about like how precise and perfect he is. I think he's just telling himself that.
Yes, exactly.
Like he's not everything he's set out. He's
trying to be disciplined.
Yeah.
He's trying. That's like,
because my first interpretation was, oh, he is this perfect killer who's lost it. This is like the first time he's gone wrong and he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
My second time watching it, I was like, he's never been what he thinks he is, you know?
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
all of this is like
improvisation,
a ritual in vain to be something that he's not. You know, all of his yoga and all of his preparation is just him lying to himself about what he's not. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And he's not that great at his job. You know, like with the nail gun
several times.
Yeah, like
People
the nail
call him
gun. You know, he's like, this should give me 5 or 6 minutes. You know,
then he dies immediately.
And he just dies immediately. He's
Yeah.
like, shit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So yeah, and I love how in the beginning he's like, you can't be one of the many. You have to be one of the few. You know. And at the very end of the movie, he finally accepts. He's like, well, maybe you're just like me, one of the many.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that's great. And here's why I bought in at the beginning, right? When he goes to the hospital and he sees his lady who's been beaten up by the 2 hitmen. And when she wakes up, her first reaction is to just ask him, like, are you okay? Like, she's like, come here, let me look at you, you know? And she's only like, she just wants him to know that, like, he would have been proud of her for not giving any information up. You know, she's like, I'm so worried. I was so worried I was going to say something, you know, like doesn't care at all. She's like, how do I look? Is it bad? And she's like, I'll find out, you know? And don't you think, like, if your woman like did that, like, wouldn't that send you into just a fit of rage, you know, like tracking down the people?
Be all right.
You think? I'm kidding. So I thought that was very touching, you know? And I think this movie focuses less on like the origin of him, you know, like his past killings. And Grace, what are you going to say?
Why did you ask him if he was a woman? Wouldn't you? I am a woman.
No, I said if you're a woman.
Oh, I was like, why did you ask him that? I'm literally a girl.
I'm asking him, like, if he saw you like that, you know, and you were just like, I want you to be proud. You would have been proud of me, you know? Like, you just cared about him in that moment, you know? Like, I just found that very personal, you know? Very
That's
touching.
why I said I'd be all right.
And then he made the joke.
And I didn't mean that.
Yeah, what was I saying after that?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Interrupted.
No, it's okay.
Well, thanks for coming on, Grace. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Bye.
So yeah, that's why I bought in. I thought that was very touching, that moment.
Yeah.
And okay, so like there's not a focus like on his origin, like his past dealings, you know, or like their relationship. I think he's just cutting straight to the action, you know, like you don't need to know all that stuff. He doesn't even have a name. Nobody really has a name. You know, it's the lawyer, like Hodges, he has a name, Dolores, but like the Floridian, they just call him the Floridian, you know.
The Brute, yeah.
The Brute. The Client, I think he has a name.
Yeah,
but...
the Client, the Expert. Yeah, the Client does have a name.
Yeah,
but that's important too, because he's not a normie. He's one of the few. And that's what Fassbender, or the killer, recognizes at the end.
Yeah.
Is when he's in his apartment with him, like ready to kill him, he recognizes, oh, this guy is so out of my league. He's everything I thought I would be. Like, he accidentally ruined my life without even noticing it.
Yeah.
He had no knowledge of what this pushback or what the insurance was, and it totally ruined my life. He's one of the few, and I'm one of the many.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's why it's important that he gets a name, the billionaire.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Any other objections that you guys have?
No, I think to your point, kind of going off of that, because he's an unreliable narrator, I just don't know how much of his relationship I believe or how much of it matters.
You don't think he cares for?
I don't know,
his
and
woman?
I don't think it matters. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah,
like I think I pictured it on my second viewing of him like telling somebody this in the future, or like writing it in a journal, and like some key details are just missed because they're not important.
Yeah,
like you said, he doesn't need to talk about his past. We don't need to know about his past with this woman to know that it's the catalyst that started all of this.
Yeah,
like we don't need that information. And then just every interaction he has with anybody, like it kind of pissed me off how bad the Dominican actor was.
Yeah.
And it kind of pissed me off how cringy and bad the millionaire was, or the billionaire. Like everybody that he interacts with isn't that great of an actor, except for like maybe his lawyer guy, you know. But I think that's because in his mind, he's like the hero of the story. He's the only competent one. Yeah. And everybody around him, like I think it's an intentional directing choice because I don't think Fincher would just let that fly. I mean, he did with Margot in Gone Girl, but I think it's an intentional choice that none of these people are competent. All of them don't know what they're doing, and he's the only one in control.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wrote that down. I was going to bring up that point. How, like, that was when I first noticed it, was the taxi driver. Like,
yeah,
this guy
sucks.
I was like, maybe it's because Fincher makes everybody do 100 takes, you know? So you just get you just don't know what he wants. And, you know, you don't know what takes he's using. So maybe he's like making it the way he wants it, you know? But I do think that was intentional to just show how lame everybody else is in the real world. Fincher's an extremely cynical director. You know, he likes making fun of people all the time. So I think that was even like the guy who sells him the gun. I thought he was like the worst.
So stupid. Dude.
Yeah.
Guy knows his way around a Glock subcompact. Oh, brings his own potato too. I love this guy.
Yeah.
So
that
cringe.
was so like that had to be intentional. And that's not just us like being whatever, like Fincher heads and just
genuinely
sounds
credit.
like it.
Genuinely, there is no other because Fassbender is so fantastic in this role.
Yeah.
His performance is perfect. And nobody else's is. Like that's not an accident. Maybe we are giving Fincher too much credit. I doubt that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
But Grace?
I mean, he's just a man.
Yeah.
He is just a man, but he's an expert of his craft, you know?
Yeah.
I was very intentional coming on this pod to make sure like I don't sound like I'm just some Fincher head or whatever that just like gives him all this praise that he doesn't deserve, you know?
Yeah.
I just love his work, Grace. You know?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? And you mentioned this, that you don't like when there's flaws with like how they use guns.
I was wrong. I watched it again today.
Okay.
No flaws in how the guns are used. There are some prop flaws.
There are.
But
okay.
That's not Fassbender's fault.
It's not, no. But
go on.
I was going to say, I was just going to make a joke. Can I make this joke?
Sure. Go ahead.
I don't have gun autism,
you
know, where like I notice all these different flaws about how people use guns in movies, like how much ammo's left or like have they reloaded yet? And what was I going to say?
That joke killed though. You know, ignorance is bliss. I get that.
Yeah.
That's why we shouldn't learn anything and we would love every movie.
But I think the most common like movie trope in action movies is that, you know, silencers never work that well, right? They're never going to just like be the super quiet kill, right? Like people still hear silencers.
In real life or in the movies?
In real life.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So it's always like in movies where it's just like you can kill somebody like in the back of a bus with a silencer.
Like John Wick 2,
hears.
where they're like shooting at each other out of their cars.
In the, the subway station or whatever. Yeah.
Never going to happen. Not that it matters.
That's what I think.
I can suspend my disbelief for certain things, but because I know Fincher takes 80 takes of everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did he miss that? You know? But he didn't.
And that's one of the things that bothers me is that like people find these like little flaws and it just takes them out of it. You know, like Banta didn't like the fake fire, right? I think he's fine with that. Okay.
Because to me, that seemed like Fight Club, like the bad CGI.
Yeah.
I think that was intentional. Huh?
It isn't. It's just the way he likes to, you know, put things, and he likes the CGI. I don't know.
And when he shoots that first shot in Paris, like the CGI flame out of the barrel of the rifle, and like the bad CGI glass shattering, like that's obviously intentional. Yeah, that's a stylistic choice.
None of it's actually real, right? So
Wait.
so just like suspend your belief, your
But
disbelief.
you
or
wouldn't make
whatever.
that argument for other movies.
I think I would.
Always
Yeah,
suspend
I think
your
it's
disbelief.
fun. I
Where's
think
the
it's
limit,
fun
though?
to nitpick,
Yeah.
but I don't think that should like alter your view of the movie. and,
Shut
like,
up, dude. We got to
Yeah.
go back and rewatch all the episodes where you and I both, I'm guilty of it too. But that's the thing, you nitpick and things take you out of movies
I
all
think
the
it's
time.
fun to nitpick. I don't think it should like change make it like. I don't think you should think that it's a worse movie just because there's tiny little like.
No, you don't. You can't stand by that.
You
shatters and,
cannot
like,
stand
the
by
reality
that.
of
No,
it.
because why do we call an acting performance bad? It's because we know how human interaction works. We know how conversations work.
I'm not talking about acting.
Yes, you are. You're
No.
talking about nitpicking anything. You're
No,
saying
no, not nitpicking anything.
You're just talking about guns then.
Not just guns, but like,
Bad
But
CGI.
but like a little bit of bad CGI or something.
Right.
No, but like,
Where's your limit though?
But
is what I'm
yeah,
asking.
because you.
there's a limit. I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say the Flash.
Like the Flash, horrible CGI throughout the entire.
But what
thing.
made the movie bad was
Yeah, how do we
the-
know that wasn't a stylistic
Yeah.
choice? The director said it was.
That is what he said,
So,
but he's a liar.
Oh,
so is Fincher a liar?
He didn't lie. What did he about? What?
I mean, we've assumed.
I mean, it
his-
was bad
CGI
CGI.
is bad.
So where is the
You guys
limit?
aren't getting me. You're not getting me.
What's
I
there to
just-
get?
I think the nitpicking point is bad because we always critique movies. That's what this whole podcast is about.
Yeah.
So things will take you out of the movie, and there is a limit. Like I can suspend my disbelief for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Little Mermaid, I know she's not actually underwater.
Okay.
You know, yeah. believe it or
What?
not.
Yeah.
So that's not going to take me out when something is inconsistent there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like different contexts for different movies and
I
different
think like
aspects.
little inconsistencies shouldn't matter that much, you know.
Yeah.
But like every time Ariel's underwater and it looks horrible, like we said,
Yeah.
that's just bad.
Have you ever watched a basketball movie and like
Yeah.
been bothered by how they play?
It doesn't really bother me, but I notice it.
Right.
I just know.
But does it
I
take
just know
you
that they're
out?
theater kids,
Yeah.
you know, just trying to play basketball, right?
Yeah.
It's like just Forrest, you know, like shooting 3-pointers. It's fun to watch still.
Hey, but he can.
He can.
He can.
and he proved us wrong.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, we can agree to disagree.
Okay. I think we agree.
I don't think
I
so.
don't know. Sure, we agree.
Okay. What else do we want to bring up?
I don't really. Oh, here was my thing.
What are the ads? Product placement. Everything. What do you think?
I had a hard time with that the first time because, like, Fight Club is so about anti-consumerism
Yeah.
and like how capitalism has corrupted people in the West, and like you can't escape it.
Yeah.
Yada yada. So I didn't like it at first, and I also just think some things like that won't age well.
Okay.
But like when you pick a company like Amazon or McDonald's, okay, here's what
Or
I'm going to say.
FedEx.
I didn't like
or
it at
Starbucks.
first. I didn't like it at first, but then it makes sense because he's just like everything he tries to do to blend in because he's one of the few
Yeah.
just makes him a normie.
Yeah.
Like makes him one of the many, as he doesn't want to be. So I think it's smart to pick such big companies that are so like ever present in our lives
Yeah.
that make him like that we can easily use to define him as an everyday man, you know, even though he thinks he's not. So I was okay with it.
I think it adds to the realism of it.
Yeah.
Shows us how these like assassins, serial killers could like navigate through our everyday life, you know?
Yeah, that was Staddy's point when I first complained.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, that's how somebody would do it in real life.
Yeah,
Which-
like Amazon, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Drop
you just
boxes.
order that thing and then you go to the Dropbox and it's that easy. You
Yeah.
know, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
How easy like Fassbender made it seem to
You
carry
know-
out one of these hits, you know?
That was the part of the movie that took me out the most. I'm
What,
not gonna
the
lie.
Amazon Dropbox?
Yeah,
Grace used
just
to work
like
for
Amazon in general.
You just didn't like Amazon?
Well,
you-
yeah, I
'cause you
hated
worked
the
for them?
job, but
Oh, yeah.
also just like I don't know, felt misplaced in a David Fincher movie. But
Well, did you notice? So it opens up McDonald's, then there's FedEx,
WeWork.
WeWork.
Yeah, that's the place he was hiding out in the first scene.
Okay. What else was there? Was there Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Not explicitly mentioned, but he like stands in front of the.
Well, at the
Yeah.
it is, and he's drinking one.
Yeah.
Ace Hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Suspiciously, the storage center wasn't named, which I take offense to personally.
Why wasn't someone called about that?
Yeah.
And then Amazon. And then I feel like there was one more that we're missing.
He drove. I will point out that he, in every place that he did go, he was in a different brand of car.
Oh yeah, Enterprise rental car that
Jeep.
was in there.
Yeah. He's an ad man, and he's always been that way. Like Mountain Dew is just always in every single one of his movies.
It's just interesting because
he's so against.
He was
brands.
so against it, but now he's the Netflix movie guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I didn't mind it.
But I mean, that's why I think this movie is a mirror to Fincher.
Mm-hmm.
Is like everything that he said he was at the beginning of his career, he's not.
Yeah.
Like, and now he's one of the many. Like you said it yourself, you don't care about him outside of his work. Like
I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just interesting. A couple of layers to that.
I also think it's like when we look back at this movie like 20, 30 years from now, it'll be funny to see like how prevalent these like companies were, like Amazon, like it's like when you see like I don't know how the future's going to be 20,
they're
30
going to
years
be
from now.
We're going to all have our health insurance through Amazon. You seen that?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Anyway, go on.
But like it's how I feel like in Heat when you see like the car phone. It's
Yeah.
just funny,
Yeah.
And I think the way he uses like the stuff is just funny. Like the McDonald's, he just sees it as a way to get 15 grams of protein.
Yeah.
And he takes off the bread and just eats it like that. It's just a relatable thing that people can see that.
I also, you just made me think of something. This is, you don't see a lot of modern movies like that are set in the present day.
Yeah.
And if
No,
you
that's
do,
true.
it doesn't have like, I don't know. There's like no mention of cell phones or like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not heavily reliant on what we are reliant on
Right.
in our everyday lives.
Right.
Like you think of the biggest movies this year, Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, this, and then Napoleon later this year. They're all period pieces except for this. So and some people don't like that. But the good thing about a period piece is it's like time proof.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not going to watch that and like laugh at how it's aged.
Mm-hmm.
So I like a modern movie, even though I don't like some of the methods because I know they'll age poorly.
Yeah.
I appreciate Fincher for portraying life as it is today.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Okay. Want to get into the categories?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Favorite part? I was thinking we could rank the different sequences. What do you guys think?
Can I give you one sequence that was my favorite? One
Okay,
part?
Why don't we go worst to best? Do you wanna
I'm
do
just
that?
going to say it real quick. The dominatrix,
Oh, okay.
that was my favorite part.
That was your favorite part?
Yeah. I just
When-
have to
when
put
she
in
got
a
shot?
sexual reference scene for my favorite
Yeah.
part every. Gotta
Or
put
for
that
the
on
scene
the
you
ballot.
most want to be there for.
Oh yeah, I'll save that one.
You save it,
Yeah.
That'll kill when we get to that
Just-
part.
Oh man.
that'll be mud, dude.
Okay, so here are the scenes or the sequences in order. There's the target, the opening scene, then the hideout, then the lawyer, and then the brute, the expert, the client, and the epilogue.
Worst to best.
Worst to best. Let's do that.
Well, the epilogue's like a minute and a half.
Let's not include the epilogue.
Okay. Then it honestly might be reverse order for me chronologically.
Okay.
I don't like the client.
So you say the client is your worst.
Client's probably my worst. I don't like the expert
Okay.
just because, I don't know. I like Tilda Swinton, I guess. She's
You do.
fine, but sometimes I don't
But
like
the
her.
other scenes were just so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably the client. Well, actually, I liked... Okay, let's do the expert.
Well,
Okay.
let's dissect it. So the client, I'd say that's probably my least favorite part as well, but I still enjoyed it.
I was just thinking of his meeting with him, like when they actually come face to face. I actually like his method of getting to him.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that more than I like the expert.
Okay.
So Expert's my bottom.
Expert's your bottom. Okay. So for The Expert, when I watched it originally, I was like, yeah, this might be my least favorite part. I don't think I heard the story because we didn't have subtitles on.
It's crazy.
But the
Weird.
second and third time, I really paid attention to the story.
Yeah.
And I liked it. That was very interesting. Usually, like in a movie, when they tell like a story, it doesn't age well, you know, because like, oh, I've already heard this, you know. But I just thought it was so interesting, you know, and how much it made me think about his motivations for why he actually does what he does, you know, because you hadn't really thought about it up until that point, you know. You just know he's obsessive and he's paranoid and he's trying to get back at people, you know. But why was he in this profession to begin with, you know? You see him like transfer $8 million to his Caribbean account at the bank, you know. He's got more money that he can spend and beautiful wife or lady or girlfriend or whatever.
Why is she beautiful? Is that confirmed?
You know.
I only saw her scarred up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So why does he keep doing it? And Tilda Swinton's like probably the first person that's made him like question why he's still in this profession. You know, why was he even in Paris to begin with doing that?
Well, yeah, I liked that. I like his criticism of her. Like when he first sees where she lives, even before that, he's like criticizing where she lives, how she chooses to live her life. And then he sees her out in the open, like drinking and enjoying her life, you know?
Yeah.
And I think he has some envy for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't love the story. Thought it was a little cringy, but I think that also lends itself to the story, to like him being in, like we're in his mind. So while that story might be something she's been waiting her whole life to tell, like until she's in this situation and she thinks it's like hitting home.
Yeah.
It's just not hitting home for him. And that's not even what's on his mind.
Yeah. She even like tests it. She's like, is there any ice cream back there? You know, and she looks over at Fassbender.
Yeah.
And he's just like non-responsive. Like, no, I'm still going to kill you.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
We won't take a dessert menu. So, and then she's like, okay, I guess I have to like try to kill him outside, you know, and she has a knife. And you know what I also noticed? Every time he like makes a move to kill somebody, or almost every time, it's because they like try to negotiate, right? Like the taxi driver's like, why don't I just leave the keys and get out of the car? And he's like, boom, just shoots him, you know?
Yeah, because he knows that he's like irrational and emotional. And he needs to forbid empathy.
And he also doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
So before they get to that point, he knows he's susceptible to it, you know?
Yeah.
So he has to cut it off.
So he just has to like act fast, right? And he was right in that scene to just kill her when she was asking for help, because she would have, you know, got to him with a knife, maybe, right?
Right.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But
Yeah, I just didn't. I'm not like the biggest fan until this one, whatever. So
yeah, me neither.
You know what she was great in is The French Dispatch.
I knew you were gonna say that.
What? It's a
I
great
don't
movie.
remember her.
She's naked.
Much. She is?
For 1 second.
Yeah.
She's like the presenter
Yeah.
in front of that crowd of people. And then she
It's
is
like
using
in-
a slideshow and shows a picture of her in the nude.
Oh.
Which is fine. We're fine with that. I didn't
don't
enjoy
remember.
it.
You
Yeah,
obviously-
it made
you-
my wife happy, so I like it.
You just said that was your favorite performance by her, so
She's in a lot of Wes Anderson stuff, huh?
she is.
Yeah.
She has a face for it, though.
Yeah.
It's just like a blank
It's kinda weird
canvas.
face.
Yeah.
One of
And
the
I really
weirdest
didn't like her
looking
hair.
people.
Yeah, she did not look good in this. I mean, she looked like herself, but I didn't like. Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of Wes Anderson, very similar to this film. I'm not a huge fan of Holy.
It's okay.
I'm not a huge fan of Wes Anderson,
Uh-huh.
but I know that he's like a master of his craft, and he makes a movie exactly how he wants it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that way, his movies are perfect for his fans and for him.
Okay.
That's how I feel about this movie. Even though I didn't love it and enjoy every minute of it, I get that it's like perfectly made.
I just don't get where you're not like buying into it. Like, what wasn't interesting about it for you?
I just like there's better action movies. There's better like if you're watching this movie to see a super competent killer,
Yeah.
there's way better movies for that.
Right.
I don't think I loved like him setting up his kills, how obsessive he is about everything, and
Yeah.
it was just a joy to
But
watch it. It's like mesmerizing. It's
We're talking
transfixing.
like transfixing, competency.
Mm-hmm.
This or No Country for Old Men.
This reminds me of No Country for Old Men.
But No Country
a
for Old
little
Men hits every beat better, you know?
bit.
Because, well, I mean,
Well,
those
it's
characters.
different. It's hard to
different
compare.
because those characters don't have the crutch of like being irrational. Like they're in their right mind. They're at the peak of their, potential for that kind of stuff. So it's hard to compare. But as a viewer, I'd rather watch something like that than this.
Okay.
And Fincher movies, he's got way better movies for me.
Right.
Way more enjoyable. So it's just hard to justify. Like again, I get that the execution is perfect.
Yeah.
It's one of the best lit movies I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like talking about The Brute, we'll get to this, but I love how everything's like everything's just kind of dark, but not like in a Seven kind of dark where it's too hard to see.
Yeah.
It's like intentional, and it's almost like, again, going back to him recounting the story.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a fight, you're not going to remember every little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to sound different in your head. There's going to be like this fog of remembrance. So
Yeah.
I feel like the fight scene did that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I thought the fight scene was
Kind of
great,
ranting.
where like it made the Brute just seem like so powerful.
Yeah.
Like he's fighting like Kratos or something.
well,
right
these
there.
are his peers, you know?
Yeah.
Or what they're
So, like-
supposed to be.
Yeah, what are supposed to be his peers. So they've got to be at least as strong or resourceful as him.
Yeah.
And then if we're going by the logic that he's not as resourceful as he says he is, it makes sense that he gets the crap beat out of him and like barely escapes with his life.
Yeah. And it puts you in the moment, like how scared he is.
Yeah.
You know, he gets like uppercut right in the jaw,
Yeah.
like that just looks so painful in the moment. And like, yeah, it's dark. He's not seeing things clearly.
Yeah. The sound in
He's-
that
The sound
scene
in that
is
scene
crazy.
was great.
Yeah. Right.
Like
just
he-
puts you right
yeah.
there.
Again, he doesn't drug the dog enough.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's just
Yeah.
making another mistake.
Another mistake.
And he kills him so quickly, like doesn't even let him finish what he was going to say.
Yeah.
Just because he's scared, right? He hasn't been in that situation. He doesn't know what to do. He's improvising, right?
So to answer your question, I think this will be one of those movies for me that when I first watched it, I'm like lukewarm on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's better stuff out there,
Yeah.
but in the future, I think I might enjoy it more.
Here's what I liked about it. I've seen, I rewatch like Gone Girl and Fight Club, so many times. And this just felt like something new, Fincher himself said this film was like an exercise. He was trying to shape it different. Like it's just a series of sequences, and he labels them, what's coming next. You have stuff to look forward to. They're all kind of about the same length, except for the epilogue, So it just feels like it was easy to buy in and be entertained the entire time for me. I don't think my entertainment level like rose suddenly and it never dropped suddenly. It was just like consistently good the entire time. And it still had all those little Fincher little quirks that I'd love about him, the lighting and the quippy dialogue, the script was good. The performances, some of them were kind of weird,
Yeah.
But this one, in this movie, that's where I mind it the least, to be honest.
Right. Because like we said, it seems like it's got to be intentional.
Yeah. And it's short. It's only
2
hour
hours.
59,
Hour 59.
I would put it above Social Network. I put it at my number 5, I'm pretty sure. But it's in that same like tier 1 for me of
Wow.
Fincher movies. Yeah. And it's not just like me, usually when I decide to like a movie before I see it, I don't like it. And it doesn't, meet my expectations.
Right.
I mean, that's both of us, right?
Maybe that's what happened to me this time around.
Yeah, maybe. But this, I just like was mesmerized by it. I think it's like it shows me that Fincher is still capable of making like new, fresh work.
Yeah.
You know, after Mank, I was like, oh, that was really not that good.
You watched that though?
Mank, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Watched it. It was a while ago. You know, I haven't
Right.
rewatched it since. It's all in black and white. It's a period piece. You know, the dialogue's weird. The story is hard to understand. And it's not that interesting.
Right.
You know, but he's getting back to what he does best. You know, I think it's just 2 hours straight of what Fincher is best at. You know, serial killers, setting up these amazing sequences, you know, great scenes, great dialogue, everything like that. Here's what I will say. The ending, I think, is a little bit controversial because it's anticlimactic.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably expecting that great, iconic closing scene that we're so used to with Fincher.
Yeah.
Like in, you know, Eduardo's freak out in The Social Network. You know, what's in the box?
Right.
Brad Pitt, right? And, you know, Zodiac, Gyllenhaal getting a look at the killer, Arthur Lee Allen. You know, it's stuff that just like resonates with you. And the ending doesn't really resonate with you. He kind of accepts his emotions, accepts that he's not a perfect killer, you know, and he finally decides to not act on his, you know, emotions.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of just go back to living his life before. And I think, and I understand that people kind of like, once the movie like ends so abruptly, you're like, oh, that was kind of just like, okay, you know. But I've just been thinking about this movie for like 3 days straight. I don't know. And it's kind of some of it is kind of just stuff I'm not really articulating very well on this pod, just because I'm nervous.
You're fine.
I just want to get it right, you know.
Well, last thing, and then we'll get back on track about that. I think the reason people don't like it is it's a little too close to home for some things.
Okay.
Like in those great twists, those great Fincher twists,
yeah,
we experience something new and like a rush. This guy is just returning to he's just accepting mediocrity.
Yeah.
Like he's accepting being a part of like a cog in the machine when this whole time he's thought he's above that.
Yeah.
For the average person, you have these hopes and these aspirations to be something bigger and something better. And then we all fall into a life of mediocrity at some point, usually.
Yeah.
So like, I think maybe that's why it's not satisfying. We go to movies to escape reality. And then it's like a huge reality check that, oh my gosh, this is what would happen in a real scenario. So maybe that's why it doesn't resonate with people.
But also, like, I feel like this is David Fincher's least memorable film. Like, from The Social Network, Seven, Zodiac, Gone Girl. Those are the ones I've seen.
I'd say it's maybe his least iconic.
I don't even know if it's that. Like, I don't feel like my interest was ever, like, at an all... Like, I remember feeling a rush watching Gone Girl, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't ever once in this movie feel that.
Feel a rush.
Yeah. Like, it was so stagnant that I just was like,
You just
like,
kind of just...
yeah, like you've been thinking about it for 3 days straight and I haven't thought about it in 3 days.
That's a great point. That's a huge way to measure a movie, honestly.
You know, it didn't resonate with me enough for me to even think about it again. Like, we talked about it and then like after, and then I went to bed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't agree in that instance. I have thought about this, but like, that's how I gauge a movie. Like, that's what a 5-star movie is for me. Am I thinking about it all day the next day?
Yeah.
Like, is it just staying with me? You know? And if that doesn't happen for you, of course, like, you're not going to give this movie a crazy rating.
Like, yeah, the cool girl dialogue, and you have to credit the author for that part, kind of. But like, her saying that in the movie, that's iconic, you know? I don't feel like I could go back and quote any part of this movie.
I could quote quite a bit.
You've seen it 3 times, though. I've seen Gone Girl twice, and I could probably quote some of the cool girl dialogue.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's it's hard to compare this to his other work since he's
It is.
just
It is.
so great.
Right. But
I hope you guys change your thoughts on this
Yeah.
someday.
Maybe.
maybe.
I thought I'd convince you guys on
Here's-
this pod.
Here's my thing. I wish I
You
could
wish.
watch it for the first time again.
Yeah.
Just, I was so, Grace can attest, I didn't
Yeah.
sleep at all that week.
Mhm.
Like, I was just upset.
Yeah.
So watching it for the first time was uneventful. And then even today when I watched it again and really enjoyed it,
yeah.
like I still felt like it was missing something, or I don't know, it just didn't have that magic aspect for me. Maybe because I was associating it with wanting to not. I don't want to make a suicide joke. I'm going to cut that part right there. Just associated with all that stress.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to respond, I'm not saying you're wrong in any way. Like,
Thank you.
First woman on this podcast, and Jaren's going to tell her why she's
Um,
wrong.
she's-
no.
Never coming back on again. So how does that make you feel?
The parts that I just found interesting were how unreliable he is as a narrator and how funny it was every time he goes against what he's telling himself that he needs to do. The Smiths, kept coming up. I thought that was a funny gag,
Yeah.
And I loved the sequences. I loved his preparation, everything, And I just don't know why I've been thinking about it just in preparation for this, just to defend it,
Right.
And I don't think that maybe I like it so much just because Fincher's my guy, I really enjoy this. Like can't remember the last time I watched a movie 3 times in 4 days,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna watch it again in a couple days. Actually,
I get what you're saying. Like, this is how I felt about Babylon.
Mhm.
Chazelle's my guy. And
Yeah.
like, everybody hated that movie. Even you were kind of cold on it when we left the theater.
Okay.
And I gave it a 4.5 out of shame because I was like, yeah, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought,
Yeah.
I just feel like some of these movies are just so close to home. And I stand by, that's a perfect movie, Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would still have to do some convincing for other people.
Yeah.
Whereas, this is a perfect movie, and I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to hear other people just not be able to accept it. And you're like, why don't you get it? Why don't you understand, why I love it so much?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that we can't provide that for you.
No, it's okay. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Everybody else lives their own separate lives, and they're going to perceive things.
I guess this movie was just more
Differently.
relatable for you, huh?
No,
Just-
well, it
He's
is about
sociopath
it's
killer.
about- no, he's not a sociopath. He's very
How is he
emotional.
not a
He's
sociopath?
very emotional, but he's trying to suppress his feelings the whole time.
A sociopath doesn't lack emotion, though.
Yeah. That's a
Do they not?
psychopath.
That's a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's a sociopath?
I read you
Very
the definition
rageful?
earlier. I don't want to read it again.
I don't listen when you read.
I know, that's
stuff.
insane. Jeez.
This little boys
The whole
just
point is hinging
looking
on not
stuff.
listening to a definition.
Yeah.
He is a sociopath.
Okay. Whatever.
And I think you might be, too, if you
Yeah.
can't pay attention
No.
for a 20-second definition.
I did pay attention. I just forgot.
Goodness.
I'm flustered.
Okay, let's
Oh.
hustle through the things.
So we
Categories.
said the client and
Yeah, I
the
don't know
expert.
if we need to rank them. Let's just
Yeah.
do best part.
Okay. I think either the beginning, the target, or the lawyer was my favorite part.
I just didn't love the... I mean, yeah, the target was my favorite part.
Really?
Like, it really drew you in.
Yeah.
Just because it's like a solid 25, almost 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Of just his inner monologue.
Yeah.
Not
Some of like the
interacting with
best
anybody.
quotes
Yeah.
from the movie right there.
Yeah.
You didn't like the lawyer part?
I like the actor. What's that guy's name? He was in Top Gun, Maverick.
Yeah, I know
The
you're talking
lawyer.
about the lawyer.
I just felt like, and again, maybe it was intentional. His pleading for his life seemed
Yeah.
a little over the top for me.
Yeah. If he's working with all those killers,
Yeah.
he seemed too much like he had never been in contact with these people or was not giving
Yeah.
the jobs out to people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
Yeah.
just weird to me. Michael Fassbender, what's his name? That Michael
Yeah,
Fassbender?
Mm-hmm.
Dude's flexible.
Yeah.
I have to say. But I also liked the target
The target.
best. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the lawyer then.
The lawyer.
But I really liked the target.
Yeah.
The lawyer. I really liked the sequence of him like getting into the building. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
The way he like counts how long the door takes to
Yeah.
close. And I mean, it's sad. Like Dolores, kind of her. You see so many people like come to face like death, in this movie, right?
Right.
In the different ways that they deal with it. I thought it was very interesting. And Dolores, like when she's in the car, for that split second,
And screaming.
where she's screaming and trying to get out, and that shot of like her hands,
Yeah.
very unsettling.
Which, to counter your point, she does work with these people and she understands the situation she's
Right.
in.
Yeah,
Like she takes those pills to try to like chill out.
Yeah.
And every time she's in front of Fassbender, she's like keeping it cool. But
Yeah.
that scene really drives home like, oh my gosh, he is. And that's not from inside his head.
Yeah.
That's one of the very few
that's
shots.
the one shot that's
her-
not
that's
from his
the one
perspective. Yeah,
It's the one shot that's her point of view. So that lends to the fact that he is capable and that like he is an actual, consistent killer that's
Yeah.
capable of, really bad things if she knows that. you know?
yeah, that's a good point. And I also thought like her just begging that like he doesn't make her disappear.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen that in a
Yeah.
movie? Like that was just crazy. She's
Like
like,
she already knows her fate.
my
is sealed.
kids need the life insurance. Like I can't just disappear. That
Yeah.
was like, oof,
Yeah.
really
great point.
upsetting. But
But I guess that kind of shows his empathy too, because he did just like he left her.
yeah, no,
in the
that's when he
house, like,
is.
he
He
just-
does show empathy
yeah.
where he, decides to kill her and just leave
Yeah.
the body.
Because I think right after she asks that, like, don't make it look wrong,
Yeah,
his inner monologue says forbid empathy or whatever.
Yeah,
He tries
exactly.
to remind himself of that.
Right.
maybe. Yeah.
yeah. And then the elevator, just like the suspense of that, where there's
Yeah.
like a body in the trash can or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and that guy makes a joke.
Yeah, and her laugh. Just so interesting, like those different situations that you get put in this movie,
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that. Also, I just want to say the brute, like that fight scene was phenomenal.
Yeah. Amazing.
And, yeah. Okay. So we said the least favorite part was the client or the expert, right?
Yeah. And just for the actors more than anything. Like, I like his method of getting to the client. But, I don't know. The client looks like a moron.
Yeah.
It's like the beanie thing on Super Cringe.
He's got an
Okay.
earpiece in his own house.
Most literally me character.
Probably Fassbender, huh?
It's got to be.
I mean, you don't want to be anybody else in this movie.
He's the only character we understand.
Yeah. He's like, yeah,
I am probably Dolores.
You're Dolores.
really.
Yeah.
And he's Fassbender?
Yeah, even worse.
Oh my
That's kind
gosh.
of crazy.
Make it look right,
Okay. In the event that you pass away unexpectedly, for the
He
record, for the police
snapped my
record,
neck. He snapped my neck.
for the police record, I didn't do it. So if they're
He snapped
reviewing
my
our-
neck.
I mean, they're probably already listening.
It was him.
Pretty big in Davis
What's
County.
what's the quote about marriages? Women getting killed? You
It's
quoted
most
it.
likely the husband
Yep.
if they haven't been sexually assaulted.
Ooh, that's suspicious.
Okay. Who should Ryan Gosling have played? Just got to be Fassbender.
Yeah.
The
I was
killer.
thinking
I-
the cab driver. He could do the Dominican accent thing. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Maybe the client would have made a way better client.
Yeah, that honestly could have worked, but it would have been hard because, I mean, this category isn't serious from the get-go, but like, I like that the billionaire isn't a peer of his. Like, he's much older, seems very different from what Fassbender is, and I feel like, not that they're the same at all, but Ryan Gosling and Fassbender are more similar. It wouldn't work as well, that
Yeah.
contrast.
Would have been a funny, like, crazy, stupid love, Ryan Gosling, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Cool reveal.
And he couldn't have
Yeah.
been the lawyer because that character has to be older.
for the same reason.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the same reason, yeah. It could have been Dolores.
Oh, that would have been cool.
That would have
Yeah.
been awesome.
Has he ever done a movie in drag? I wish. Like John Travolta in Hairspray.
I know I was going to
Oh.
say.
That'd be cool.
I don't think so. Not yet.
I mean, Ken wasn't that kind of drag.
I mean, I think he just is Ken.
He
What
goes break
scene
in.
would you most want to be there for? Grace?
Definitely not the Dolores one.
What about when he's eating the egg in his car?
Oh,
Like
that was disgusting. I
did
could
that today.
smell that.
Just kidding.
a hard-boiled egg.
No. Thought about it. Went to the gas station and I was like peeking around for an egg.
Yeah.
Maybe the epilogue.
Epilogue?
Yeah.
Just at his
Just
house
yeah,
in the
chilling.
Dominican
I could have been
Republic.
in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one.
You
You said something earlier about like the dominatrix.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'd want to be there for that.
Yeah.
Like when she pulls out the baton thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whoa.
We don't have to get into this.
No, you and I do.
Actually,
Off camera.
I
we
will not be.
No,
For the record,
I really, with my friends, our friends,
Yeah.
Banta, Staten, and Kaysen, but you haven't participated yet because you're not gun autistic. Sometimes we'll get our guns and we'll just clear a building.
Oh yeah.
Or
I think
clear
I've seen a video.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
we'll clear the woods or something. So when he clears his home in the Dominican Republic, I mean,
You'd
could have
want
been
to
there
be
for that. Like
yeah.
I've got experience. Could have
Yeah,
helped
you
him out
would
there.
have been a
Right.
valuable asset right there.
So yeah,
Yeah. What would I want to be there for? Probably the end too. Just the
Yeah.
epilogue.
yeah,
You know what I thought was funny? Him at the airport, he like suspects that guy with the socks to be like following him. You know, nothing ever comes of that. It
a
just
great
shows how paranoid he is and how he's not that great at his job. You know,
yeah, and also,
and the dog.
yeah,
too.
the dog.
There's-
That was like the first part that we laughed at.
Yeah,
don't
I
know
was
why
like-
that was funny.
He had nothing on him for the dog to be like to pick him out or be suspicious of him. He just didn't like the fact that there was a dog there, and so he just turned around and left.
Right.
I thought that was funny.
I also liked his paranoia when he was fleeing on like the electric scooter in Paris.
Yeah,
Like he
Nobody's
made a
chasing
clean
him.
getaway, and he's still like just booking it everywhere. You know?
yeah, that was great.
which is even more suspicious.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when he puts the glass, he orders room service. Just put the
Yeah.
glass on top of the doorknob and the plate cover
Yeah.
by the door. That's just very smart. That's just something.
Right.
You
That's
know,
like
that's
No
what
Country
reminded
for
me of
Old
No
Men.
Country.
Yeah.
That exact moment. Yeah.
Going back to that, what did you just say about the paranoia? Oh, what's more suspicious? Yes. So his paranoia multiple times in this film like ruins him or creates a problem.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he was avoiding the guy with the socks. He stayed an extra night in Paris,
That's why he didn't make it home.
and that's
in
why he
time.
didn't make it home to defend his lady.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that just again shows to like that he's not in control. Like
Yeah.
he thinks he is.
No, that's
His
true.
paranoia is like ruling him.
Okay. Best quote.
How's I don't give an F going?
Yeah.
I like that.
You like that?
I mean, there's so many quotable moments in this.
I can't think of a single one.
The Popeye the Sailor quote.
Yeah.
I am what I am.
I
or
am what
whatever.
I am. I am what I am.
That kind of that was the first part in the movie where I was like, "What? Why is he
You
quoting
like
Popeye
that?
the Sailor?" But again,
Remember
on
when he's
second
like,
watch-
to quote somebody?
"Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah." Good luck on the Wordle.
Good luck with the Wordle. Yeah.
Yeah, dumb.
Predict, don't improvise.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
And then the whole time he's improvising.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But right after he says that, because I know he says that right before Tilda Swinton tries to kill him.
Yeah.
So he actually does predict that. Yeah. Good quotes. You find it more?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
Those ones. Let's think. Life lessons.
Predict, don't improvise.
Predict, don't improvise. Yeah. No, I think that's great.
Don't show empathy.
Yeah.
Don't show empathy.
Ever.
Ever.
That's what you guys are taking away from this.
No.
I'm going to become a sociopath, actually.
You always have been one, sweetie. Haven't you? That's why I married you.
Yep.
Okay. Any facts about the production that we want to bring up?
I read somewhere before that Fassbender didn't blink once,
Oh yeah,
but
that's
I think
true.
he did.
Yeah. Oh really?
Definitely, and this is, I don't know if this counts as a blink, but when he pours Visine in his eyes, the Visine drops.
Oh
He has
yeah.
to blink those out, and then every time he's like waking up, he's blinking a lot.
Also,
Yeah.
when he gets hit
When he gets hit.
by the brute.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
probably.
So that was not true.
Okay. I think
There's
that's just about
also
it.
there's something to be said. This isn't a production fact, but about his sleep deprivation, because he mentions at the beginning that he thinks it's funny that the American government doesn't count sleep deprivation as a
Yeah.
form of torture. Then he's like always not sleeping well. Like when
Yeah.
he's sleeping in the hotel and there's like a train running by,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like sleeping in his car.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just not taking care of his body. There's got to be something in there for that.
Yeah.
Like his diet is the diet that we see is McDonald's and gas station eggs,
Yeah,
and he's
that's
not
true.
sleeping. I don't know.
And a thing of whiskey.
Like maybe
Little
that's
shot.
causing some of his paranoia.
Yeah, you might have a point
I
there.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll look
It's
into
just delusional.
that. Yeah.
Sleep deprived.
Okay. What's the time at?
We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes. 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Okay, should we end it there?
Do you want to do a draft?
Are we?
I mean, we can do a draft, or we can end it here.
Let's do a draft real quick. Me and
Okay.
you. Our
Okay.
top 3 Fincher films.
Grace, if you want to chime in, let me know. Grace has only seen 4 Fincher movies.
I draft Gone Girl.
That's your first pick.
Well, it's sure as hell not this one.
I like this more than Gone Girl.
I know you said that.
Okay. Thanks.
And The Social Network.
And The Social Network. I watched that the other day.
In preparation for this film.
Or no, just to make sure that I think The Killer's better. than
You watched
Social
it after
Network.
his first one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. What are you on? Tails or heads?
Tails.
Okay, it was tails.
Sick.
Gosh.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna take. This is hard because I'm trying to think like what I could take to. I'm gonna take Zodiac.
Okay.
For my first pick. I think it's really, really good. It's probably his best made movie.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
I think that's like the consensus number one.
Number one,
probably.
yeah. That's why I'm gonna take it. My number 3, I'd say. Just like I don't think it's the third best, but it's my third favorite.
Right.
Yeah. Like I have different emotional attachments to, his other films.
Right.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, I think it's number 2 for me, probably.
Okay. You taking your first?
Sure. I think we'll probably do podcasts on all of these at some point.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Definitely will.
My first is 7.
7.
I just love that movie.
Me too.
And that is one that is so interesting. Like it plays on a familiar story of a serial killer, of the 7 deadly sins, something that everybody's familiar with. And like, even though that's a story about a sociopath, I mean, it's not really about the serial killer as much as it's about Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. But anyway, it's a great movie. Just
Yeah.
fantastic. 1995.
Yeah, I watched it a week ago.
Yeah.
Really liked it.
Yeah.
This is the same writer.
Really?
Yeah. Same
That's
writer that wrote
really
7.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I know, I'm just going to say that's really interesting.
Why is it?
I just think 7 is much better written than this, but it's in a different way. So I guess I don't think this movie is poorly written, The Killer.
Yeah.
But
Andrew Kevin Walker. That's who. That's the writer for.
he's got to be on other movies with Fincher.
Yeah. Let me look at his filmography
like these-
real quick.
These directors that are really,
These are the only 2 with David Fincher.
really
Yeah, just 7 in The Killer.
crazy.
Yeah.
They usually have a camp that they work with. They work with the same editor, the same cinematographer, or whatever.
Yeah.
it's
He also
writers.
helped write parts
Love-
of Love, Death, and Robots. And
The ones that Fincher did.
Yeah, well, probably, I assume.
Yeah, I'd assume.
And he Real 8mm. Do you know what that is?
Is that this Spielberg or the?
No, it's a
JJ?
Nicolas Cage. Like, got the underground.
Oh, I'm thinking
world or
Super
whatever. Yeah. No, that's different.
Okay.
That's interesting that none of his other films are so big. Like 7 and this one will probably be the only ones that.
I mean, if you look at
Anyone else?
writers' filmography, they're usually like that a lot because
Yeah.
they'll have 1 or 2 big movies and then they'll like help write on other stuff. Like even Sorkin, I think he's only got like 3 big movies.
Okay, so my pick now.
Yep.
I'm gonna take Fight Club.
Okay.
I was watching it the other day. Actually, I didn't finish it, but I was listening to the director's commentary while I was watching it, and it wasn't that interesting.
It wasn't.
The audio was kind of poor. Like it was taped over and weird, and
Right.
I didn't feel like they were all together. It was like too many people too. Helena Bonham Carter, Brad Pitt, David Fincher, and Edward Norton.
Yeah.
I think there was another person in there too,
Jeez.
like a writer.
When I think it was this, but on the rewatchables, when they talked about the director's commentary for Fight Club, they talk about like Brad Pitt not, like it seems like Brad Pitt doesn't know that's going to be published. Like he's just going crazy on it.
Really?
Or maybe it was for 7. It was for a Fincher movie.
Yeah, maybe
But was he?
7.
Oh, it must have been.
Well, I didn't make it that far. It was like half hour in.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Okay, great pick.
Good, thanks.
Next, I'm gonna go with The Social Network,
Okay.
and I still haven't rated this on Letterboxd. I tried to sit down and watch it the other day. I haven't seen it in very long, so I don't know what I love about it.
The Social Network.
I think
The
I like
script
it.
is so good.
Right, and
Like
that's
it's quippy, but it's like actually, Fincher, he has some cringe dialogue in there. None of it's really that cringe. I mean, it's just like, it just works and it flows.
but that's Aaron Sorkin, right? That does
Yeah,
the
it's Aaron
script.
Sorkin, yeah.
That dude.
That
He gets
dude's
it.
pretty good at his
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna rewatch it this week probably.
Okay, good. Then I'm going to take The Girl's Dragon Tattoo.
Okay.
For my third pick. Just really like it. Great mystery. Daniel Craig's one of my favorite actors, and Rooney Mara as well. She's fantastic in this.
Yeah, I love Rooney.
Yeah. Not Daniel? Yeah. Okay.
Just kidding. No, he's great in this. He's great in this.
Okay, what are you going to take with your last pick?
My last pick, we're not drafting The Killer, huh?
No, you can.
I like The Killer more than Gone Girl.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Gone Girl's the last one on my board, but The Killer's above it. So
Okay. I put The Killer right behind Fight Club, The Girl's Dragon Tattoo, Zodiac, and 7. So Killer's my number 5.
oh,
I put it above Social Network and Gone Girl,
okay.
in my opinion.
It's number 6 for me,
Okay.
but again, my Social Network
You
ranking
put that
is,
above it.
Yeah, probably off. So
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it then.
okay,
Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Comment down below your opinions on the movie. Tell us what points you agree with or disagree with, because that would be nice for us to read.
yeah.
So-
I mean, it's really worth the watch. I hope we didn't hate on it too much. I mean, I gave it a 4. Like, it's not. I mean,
Yeah,
I love this movie. I don't love this movie. It's a great movie.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah. Grace gave it a 2, right?
I gave it a 3 and a
3.
3 or a 3.5. I
You
don't know.
gave it a 3.5. No, you gave it a 3.
3, yeah.
Banta and Kaysen gave it a 3.5.
Mm.
And Nick gave it a 4.
Yeah.
But you liked his review and not mine, so it's whatever.
Well,
So pretty much, Jaren hates you.
Yeah, I know.
I'll
That's
go back
very
and
clear.
like it.
No, that's
I was
fine.
so mesmerized. I
Yeah, dude.
dropped my phone and
Sure.
was like, "Oh my gosh!" This
And then
guy
you pooped your
gets it.
pants?
I pooped my pants.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you for listening, Fixation Nation. Good night.